God willing, in coming into the Centonomy 101 program, which is starting next Thursday, the 9th. Next Thursday, the 9th will be the first class, and then Saturday, the 11th will be the second class. So we'll be running the same class on both those days next week. So it is a great time to be signing up and getting into the program, as we have said. In case we've never met before, welcome to Centonomy. My name is Waithaka Gatumia, and it is such a pleasure to be hosting you here. As always, it's so lovely to know where you are in the world. And so if you don't mind, in the chat box, just type out, wait, before you start typing the city or town, I know people are ready to go. That's what I love about before you type. I would like for you, if you don't mind, Nyambura, I saw you were ready. I saw you were, just give me a chance. No, Florence, wait. Before you type, I want you to tell me where you are in the world, and then give me one goal for 2023 that you have. One goal. So say Kabul, you're in Kabul, great. What's the goal, Florence? One goal, just as short as possible. One goal for 2023 that you set for yourself. It's a bit of a theme that we're going to go through for this session. So in the chat box, as quick as possible now. Wow, excellent. Study abroad, love that. Woo, move to my apartment that I can sustain. Good. Ooh. Sell something and make money. Florence, we can do that in the next 5 minutes. 2 minutes, in fact. I'm sure we can walk outside and sell something. You need a bit more than that. Work on your fitness. Masinde, you're with me. I am on a shrinking plan. I intend to shrink this year. You people who are planning for growth, me, I'm on shrinking so that the clothes stop being too tight. I'm with you. Excellent. Financial independence. I like that. Emergency fund. All right, great. Emergency fund, about 300,000. You are on the right track. Let me tell you, Module 1 of Centonomy 101, which will be running next week on Thursday and on Saturday, we already give you a template for your emergency fund and give you the skill set to be able to achieve it. Excellent. You want to have an investment? Okay, good. My goal is to save money market fund and pay for my master's. Good. To buy a car. Love it. Financial literacy. Then you're in the right place. Roads, Nyambura, hey. Look at that. It's not just writing financial and mental stability. Yeah, I mean, mental health is a huge part of what we're doing. Financial knowledge, you're in the right place, Patricia. Financial literacy in the right place. To buy a car, no problem. To own a business, no problem. Better savings habits, you're in the right place. To raise capital for your business, love it. Begin your master's. Education is a big thing for us, right? Save for my kids' tuition. Module 2 of Centonomy 101. 10. You want to save for your kids' tuition in Module 2. We call it time value of money. We will calculate 10. Hold me to this. Because we always do it in the class. We use an example from the class, okay? In the class, we pick somebody from the session and we're able to say, let's plan for your son or your daughter. And then we do it together. And so 10, because you are the first one to say that in this session, hold me to this in Module 1 and Module 2, which is 2 weeks away from now. Come into the class, register for the class, and you will be the example. So I'll do your work for you in the session. Double my retirement package. Love it. Start a chicken business. Good. Ability to say no. Great. Hezron, yours is probably one of the best that I've had so far. You know what gives me the ability to say no? Hezron, my ability to say no is, if I don't have it, I can't, no, it's simple as that. Many times, one of the first lessons, and I still remember it until this day, that I learned in the Centonomy class was from one of our most experienced trainers. His name is Isaac Keegan. He trains at Centonomy, but he's also a lecturer at multiple universities, Strathmore University, I think, and other places. I can't remember which other one, but I know he does it, the Strathmore, and I believe in the business school at Strathmore as well, but he trains here with us as well. And he told me, Waithaka, one of the best things to do, I remember from his class, he said, at the beginning of the month, I am broke. And he used to be like, what? I thought at Centonomy you should not use, speak negatively about your finances. And when he explained it, it just blew my mind, because he was saying, at the beginning of the month, I have assigned my money the work it's supposed to do. All of it is assigned. Gone, 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 gone. So if you're not in the plan for assignment, it's not there. Hey, he does have an assignment lot for giving, for supporting, for charity. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about as we go through this. He does have that. But he was saying to me, and he said, hey, Waithaka, be broke at the beginning of the month. Why? Because you've already assigned your money. It's job description. It's already working for you. You guys are talking about my money working for me. That's what we're discussing here. So Hezron, you are in the right place, because the ability to say no, it's not out of a heart of ill will to anybody, is it, Hezron? No, it's simply saying no because there's a better yes. Yeah, there's a better yes. There's something else that is Hezron, if you had all the finances in the world, then you have no reason to say no, isn't it? You'd help where you can be able to help. But Hezron, let me speak to you specifically, because I was amazed when I watched, and I highly recommend that documentary. It's, I think it's called Decoding Bill Gates. It's on Netflix. Anyway, it's a documentary on Bill Gates and what he's doing currently right now. One of the wealthiest men in the world. You would think he has all the money in the world. But even as he began to unpack some of the problems that he's trying to deal with, healthcare, malaria in Africa, sanitation. In fact, one of the things that really caught my attention is Bill Gates Foundation is trying to solve a sanitation problem in a slum here in Kenya called Kibera, right? Or Kibra, however you pronounce it. And that caught my attention. He is worried about sanitation in my country. What about me? What am I doing to help in the area that I am? That was just a challenge to me. But the crux of the matter for you, Hezron, and that's the issue of saying no, is that even with his immense wealth, like it's unfathomable when you hear somebody has 150 billion worth in dollars, their net worth, $150 billion net worth. I think that's the last time I saw where he is. He recognizes that even if he liquidated it all and gave all that money towards the various things that are out there, he cannot solve all the world's problems, Hezron. So even as Bill Gates, one of the wealthiest men in the world, he still has to say no to certain things because there's a better yes. He says no to some of the other projects because there's a project he's already funding. So it's not out of a heart of lack of generosity. In fact, we encourage generosity because that's one of the best things about us as Africans, is that we support one another. But many times that support becomes a chain that we can never break. If you had the couple that were speaking before me, that cycle keeps you in a certain lock because it's as if no one is getting out. You know what I mean? That's the attitude that's there. So Hezron, I'm with you. The ability to say no, brilliant. Grow passive income, love it. Invest wisely, wonderful. Jerry, you didn't tell me what you want. Rebranding and growing a hair, wow, love it. Goal capacity building, okay, interesting. Financial literacy, you're in the right place, Jane, for sure. Make more money in my poultry farming, okay, interesting. We'll talk about that even as we go through. Financial independence, these are powerful words. Get a scholarship, love it. Start a sustainable business, start my own business, love it. Where is the money to start that business coming from? And we found it because we train entrepreneurs as well at Centonomy. We have a program called the Centonomy Entrepreneur, separate from the Centonomy 101, which we're discussing here. Many of the problems entrepreneurs face are because they have no control over their personal finance. So their personal life is what is pulling their business down. So for all those who are saying, I want to start a business, get your money in order, your personal money in order, because if you have that in order, you'll be able to support and sustain the business rather than be a drain on that business. Love it. Start a sheep project. Do away with unnecessary debts. Love it, Marceline. Thank you so much for that. I want to save, Regina from Sierra Leone. Thank you so much. Save $4,000. Love it. Get a job. Module 1 next week, Terry will be talking about that mindset, because let me tell you, everyone wonders, why do I need to? I'm sure that's why you're here, isn't it? You're in this room, or you're seated on that couch watching this video from wherever you're watching it from, and you're saying, why should I pay whatever amount of money that Centonomy is telling you to pay? A lot of it, isn't it, to come and attend a class to learn about how to make money? Why should I sit in that class? And it's because it's a shift in mindset. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. We'll do some work together just now. But if you don't see the world differently, I'm telling you, if you don't get it right up here, it doesn't matter what I say. You can learn it over 100 times. You went to school, learned it, doesn't matter. But when you shift your mindset, it changes you. Yeah, we talk about in the class, Terry, that idea of getting a job. That's how I ended up here. I did the class 2012. I had been a supplier to Centonomy. I used to do projects for Centonomy, but I was not an employee. And I did the class and I was told, what are you doing with your time? You know, that was one of the challenges. What do you do with your time? What do you do with your evenings? Are there skills and abilities that you have that you're not using? And that really challenged me. And after I'd taken the class, I saw an ad that Centonomy had put out, and they're saying, we're looking for part-time trainers in the evenings. And I was like, guess what? You know what? If there's one thing in my life I can do, I can talk. So let me try. You know, people always wonder and ask me, what did you study when you went to university? Now, this may bother you, but guess what? In this life, research has shown that in our generations, this idea of one career path for the rest of your life is a gone case. Yeah, it's no longer there. In our lifetimes, we are going to have multiple careers. I didn't say jobs. I said multiple careers. And that's what happened in my life. I studied and did media and communications. I've always been good at maths, and I've always been interested in you know, the way things work. I'm a curious soul. And so I listen and watch and read widely as much as I possibly can. So I did media and communications. How would I be training about personal finance? And that's the thing. I came into the class. I took the class a couple of times, and then I recognized, guess what? The principles that are being taught here are not to make you an accountant. That's not the skill set that's being taught at Centonomy. You won't be an accountant. There are many facilities that are out there that will help you to become an accountant. What this is doing is trying to help individuals without accounting backgrounds to understand their personal finance and their abilities and what they can be able to achieve. And I said, you know what? I don't have to be an accountant to do that. If I understand the principles, I'm good at maths and I can communicate, let me try. So I actually tried. And before that, this is how I would dress, ladies and gentlemen, most of the time in, you know, a bit of a casual shirt. Many times, that's it, jeans, a shirt, that was my dress code. So I'm talking to Terry here. So the challenge was, how do I show up and shift the Centonomy mindset? Because the team at Centonomy, Washeke and the rest of the team were used to seeing me in a certain way. And so that's the first time I ever showed up at Centonomy in a suit. And I'm telling you, it blew them. Simply the way I was dressed, Terry, because I had shifted my mindset and went for a different thing, opened a door that I couldn't believe. And so I joined as a part-time trainer, and just over 4 years after that, I became the CEO of the company. So Terry, if you want to come and shift your mindset and get a job, this is the right place to be. Stay afloat, love it. Start a business, buy a car, massive career shift. Virginia, we're talking about that just now, all the way in Seattle. Seattle is in Seattle, Washington. Isn't that Washington? Yeah, sorry for my terrible American accent. Forgive me, I'm kidding around, okay? Mogadishu, Josephine, you're in the right place. I told you this is a fully international session that we're going to do. I've been amazed at the breadth of community that we have here at Centonomy. And it's blown my mind, the move to this digital learning, because when we're training and I hear the experiences of Josephine I believe, not Josephine, sorry, Virginia, all the way in Seattle. And I hear the experiences of Josephine in Mogadishu. We heard experiences from some of our diaspora folks in Japan and in Australia. That makes the discussions in the classes so much richer because of the view and the experiences from different places. So that community that you're going to become a part of when you join the class is going to be amazing. Don't miss out. Make sure you register today and get into it. You want a printer? Okay, great. That's interesting. Purchase a piece of land. Love it. So one of the first examples that we talk about, how do we get into that and begin to think, when does it make sense to purchase a piece of land? And it's one of the examples that you use, number one, but especially when we're discussing debt, and I'll show you debt along the way. Not only are we discussing that from that perspective, but the why. Why are we having this session? Why are we trying to purchase a piece of land? What's the outcome that you're looking for? And then we have a specific class on real estate. All right, Philip, in Embakasi, we have a specific class on real estate, not taught by me. Please, I cannot help your life there. Well, I have some knowledge, but I'm not an expert. So our trainer is a land economist and a real estate agent. So she's on the ground buying and selling land and managing properties, but she's also got that economics background to help us to understand. And she'll take you through the whole thought process of that. She's amazing, an amazing trainer. Her name is Lucy. She'll do that for you. Because we need to think beyond just the norm that we're going to have even along the way. 150K from your business, love it. Build my dad a house, get my family out of debt. These are things that we're writing down. And let me be honest right now, because it's vital for us to hear the truth, because as you know, the truth shall rewind. The truth shall set you free. And if we have a misunderstanding of the possible outcomes, then it can begin to distort the future outcome that we're looking for. Okay, so give me a moment to explain what I mean. I don't want to distort your thought process of the future by telling you that everything that you have written down in this list for 2023 is going to happen in 2023. Okay? Some goals will take longer than a year, but guess what? You can start towards those goals this year. Because if you put them off even for another year, the goal just simply gets further and further away. So, yes, it's a distant goal. It'll take time to get there. You know, if you're thinking about getting to a certain level of income, building a home, getting to a certain level of wealth, I'm not here. And we have a reality check really early on in the program, and I'm doing it for you right now, that it may take a bit longer than your expectation, maybe not in a year, but if we start now, by the end of the year, you will be closer to the outcome that you're looking for than you were at the beginning of the year. And isn't that the life journey? That's what we're looking for. So I'm not here. And this is, I'm telling you, when you get into the class, you will be shocked at the reality checks that you get, because it is now, oh, okay, so I thought I'd be able to do that in the next 6 months, but it'll take me 8 or 12 for that first step. No problem, but I'm heading there. And if there's anything that you're going to learn from this program, is that it is the journey. We're on a journey. We'll hit these targets and put them out in front of us, but the experience along the way, in fact, I'm going to show you just now what our mission is the abundant life. And the abundant life is not lived in the future. It's lived from now. And I'm going to explain that even as we go through. Exciting stuff. Diversify my income. I want to talk to Elizabeth about this, because she said, I want to diversify my income. What we began to realize, especially training here at Centonomy, is that there is a lot of information, financial information, that is available. And this is one of the amazing internet and essentially the growth of the information age. So that we have information, okay, information that is explaining to us, I need to diversify, okay? But there's a difference between information and knowledge. So to know it and to be able to use it are different. I know I need to diversify. How? Why? When? In my context. How do I diversify? Because I heard that from an American context, Elizabeth, you know, and you hear all these American influencers and teachers talking about it, and you're like, yeah, but you're talking about a 401k. We don't have a 401k here in Kenya. Or you hear loud noisemakers like Waithaka here in front of you saying, hey, why don't you get into a SACCO? And I know that those who are in some of the other places around the world, what is a SACCO? You know, and you're saying, how do I apply that knowledge in my context? And that's the difference right now. So we have a lot of information. Hey, you can switch on whichever. If you Google whatever it is, go to YouTube and search financial freedom, you will find a lot of material available, but it's a lot. How do we make it relevant to me where I am today? That's what Centonomy 101 is for, because it settles you into a space, gives you context, gives you the tools which you can then use to apply in your context. Because to say diversify my income, have different sources of income. What does that mean? How, when, why? What does that do for you? So this is the place to have that discussion. End the year with savings. Peter, you're in the right place. I told you we give a template and we give you the skill set to do it, even as we go through. Businesses, financial stability, financial abundance, love that. Start some other ideas, financial independence, increase income. Get a master's degree. So education, I told you, is a big pay off your loans. James Modi, is it Modi? I hope maybe, or Mode, I hope I'm pronouncing correct. But James, you're in the right place. Module 3 of Centonomy 101, we deal with debt. I'm going to give you an example of that as we go through this session. We also give you a debt repayment schedule template. So we show you how somebody else has done their debt repayment. We show you how to prioritize your debts, your loans, and then where is the money coming from to pay off your debts? We have to address that, because we can't just tell you go pay off your debts and there's no money coming to do that. So we discuss that and break it down. So James, you're in the right place. Financial knowledge, financial freedom, rebranding, upgrade my truck, love it. Car lovers like me, Paul, yes, let's build some of these things. Invest, buy a car, loan. Wow. Why did I start this session this way? Why did I do that? Well, I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours. I'll try and read through them even as we go through. I love, like Melon, who has written a full detailed explanation. What goals do for you is they help you focus. And a goal defines the direction that you're going to take. If I know the location of where I want to go, let's use the most simple analogy, or is it a metaphor? You correct me if which is correct in the chat box. I think it's analogy, yeah, of a soccer game. The soccer pitch is defined, right? The rules are defined. There is a specific space in which if you get the ball into it, you have benefited, and it is called a goal. Without that, you're just running around in circles. When you define a goal, as human beings, we respond to that. If you see all the billions of people, including all the soccer fans who are in the room in this place, who sit around and watch people kicking around a piece of leather, inflated leather, and trying to get it into the opposite goal, because it is ingrained in us. It is part of our nature as human beings to be goal-oriented. And when we do not have a goal, we are lost. I'm not a psychologist, and so I'm not going to get into it, but many times when we talk about these issues, it raises people out of their depression, raises them out of that funk that they get into, where somebody just has no direction for their life. I can't see the outcome. I can't see a way out. And so why we start with a goal is because it helps you focus. It gives you the parameters in which you're going to be functioning, and it tells you how close are you getting to that goal. And many times you'll find that that journey towards the goal is even more rewarding and gives a greater return for the human being than even achieving the goal itself. Why? Because you are changing on that journey. This is what we're aiming for. And that's the difference when you sit in a class and the coaching that we do in Centonomy, from sitting and just reading every single book that's out there, watching every single short TikTok that people are talking about. It is the journey, because it's in the journey that we change. And when we change, we can achieve the goal that you want to have. So ladies and gentlemen, you can start the Centonomy class right now. In fact, I'm giving you a week's head start to prepare. Write this down, because you've never written it down before, but it's a challenging question that if you don't answer, then we're going to find ourselves without the outcome that we're looking for. Are you ready for this? Please write it down. It's simple. It will come out in lesson 1 next week, but I am giving you a head start. Write it down. What do I want? If you can answer that question, and it doesn't have to be deep, it doesn't have to be, how would I say? It doesn't have to be an answer that the world expects. It doesn't even have to be in the flow that everybody would expect. You know, people will say, you should want a good job, you should want a house, you should. No. There's no should. It is you. What do you want? Because when you start putting those goals down on a piece of paper right in front of you and saying, these are the things that I want, it begins to help you focus. You stop having too many ideas and too many directions, because there's so much out there, so many opportunities. Can I help you? So many investments, because I know, give me a thumbs up if you're here, and I know we'll have a lot of time for questions at the end of this session. You came here to learn about investments, right? There are so many. There are unit trusts. There are shares, multiple shares on the stock market. There's every piece of land that is out there. There's now every kind of cryptocurrency that's there. There's NFTs, there's commodities, there's Forex. There is, what else is out there that we talk about as investments? Business investments that we're talking about, angel investing. We talk about venture capital. We talk about private equity. We talk about, now if I was to list all the commodities, gold, silver, oil, water is becoming a commodity that people are trying to do. That's what you want, isn't it? So your next question is going to be, so which investment should I make? Wrong question. What outcome do you want? If you don't know the outcome, and we're going to talk about this in the session, then we cannot help you to know the investment. Because in the class, you're going to learn that the best investment is the one that matches your goal. The best investment is the one that matches your goal. So all of these investments, people have come and talked to me, how about investing in art? I want to buy, art. And it'll appreciate, I look for artists and invest in them. I want to buy jewelry. Is my jewelry, and what's the outcome? Because the amount of investments that are out there in the world right now, you cannot handle them. You can't be able to have a discussion about them, because what outcome do you want? Should I pick this bank over this bank? What outcome do you want? So if we start in this class, and that's what you're about to do, if we start by stating, what outcome do I want? Then the investment becomes so clear. That's what we're aiming for. So ladies and gentlemen, join me on this journey, because our mission here at Centonomy, and that's what I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to this point to show you that our mission at Centonomy is to shift your mindset so that as a purposeful person, you can create wealth and live abundantly. Because it is not just about the money. It is the life that comes with that money. Now, listen, money is important. And if you don't have money, it's very difficult to function in this world in most occurrences. Most places you're going to need money to go through. So that's what we're discussing. When we talk about financial freedom, we'll discuss it and break it down from that perspective. But if we do not sit down and clarify for ourselves what the abundant life looks like, doesn't matter how much money you have, you're going to find yourself depressed, and it doesn't matter. You thought money is the outcome that you want? No. Did I ask you how much money do you want? No, I said, what do you want? And most of us would list relationships. They'll talk about impact. You'll talk about things that matter. You talk about, I want to leave an inheritance for my children. I want to shift my community. I want to build schools. I want to be able to fill in the blank. That's what we're talking about. I want to have good relationships, I told you, within my family. I want my children to have a certain outcome. I want my wife to have a great, come on. That's the abundant life that we're talking about. So when we have, that is, if you've been asking yourself, why should I attend a class like this? It is not to learn about how commodities are traded. If you want to learn about how commodities are traded, please go and speak to a commodities trader. That's the best person. He will tell you about commodities, but he cannot link the commodities to the outcome that you're looking for because you didn't even have an outcome. So when you come into the Centonomy 101 class, we start off with what do we want? What's the outcome? What are we flowing to? In fact, if you look at the way that the program, the modules run, this is it. We start off with just, first of all, let's get the basics out of the way. That's module 1. How money works. That's it. Money management. How do we control? How do we invest and plan for the future? How does debt work? That's it. Module 1, 2, 3. Then we ask the question one more time. Now that we know this, now that we're taking control, where next? And now we begin to say, what do you want? Living abundantly is about beginning to define what are the outcomes that I want to be able to get to. Then you get into the investment classes, because now you will be asking the right questions to these experts who are taking their time out of their busy schedule to come and share and say, hey, no, I'm specifically asking about this because of an outcome that I want to do. Then now you can get the answer to the question that you're looking for. That's where the difference comes. So you're sitting in this class to figure out, what do I want? And then to set the trajectory of your life towards that thing. That's the aim. That's why you're sitting in the class. So, a couple of weeks ago now, it was over the Christmas period, we got a treat. We got a treat for the house, and it's been fun. We got a PlayStation game, FIFA 23, okay? Now, forgive me, I know I'm going to get myself in trouble for all those who are watching and who are soccer fans, but I'm not a huge soccer fan. This is how terrible I am, as far as soccer knowledge is concerned. I am now confessing my sins. Please forgive me, and be kind to me in the comments. If you're writing a comment, please be kind. But I discovered a gentleman called Kylian Mbappe during the World Cup last year. I did not know there was a guy called Kylian Mbappe. Yes, Masinde, I told you, please forgive me. That is not the response I was looking. I wanted some peace. I did not know there was a guy called Kylian Mbappe until the World Cup last year. So when I was purchasing the video game and he's the superstar on the cover, I was like, come on. I was like, who's this guy? Usually I was looking for Ronaldo, Messi, you know, that's, So anyway, purchased it. Now I know. Okay, so people are judging me. People want to call the police. No, Virginia, please, no. Listen, I have now since learned, and I was sharing. Yes, so I was sharing so that we are, anyway, bought the game, brought it home, told you I'm not a huge soccer fan. I prefer rugby. I'm waiting for the rugby season to begin, but that's the game that I could find, and I knew all the other things. And my nephew had told me, get FIFA 23. That's what he had. You know, it's the best game, and that's it. So, so I bought it, and we started playing. And let me give this some context so that you understand. Let me give you some context. I know Ronaldo, I know Messi because they've been there obviously for a longer time, and you can tell them I'm not that young that much, right? So there was a video I'd watched a couple of years ago, and we use it in part of the training, and it shocked me, this video. Before I tell you what happened over Christmas, this video shocked me. And Ronaldo is being interviewed at a gala. I can't remember what dinner it was, but it was obviously for football stars and everything. And his family is there. And the interview asked him, Mr. Ronaldo, we've seen your son practicing and playing, yeah? We've seen him doing all the things like this. Do you think he can be successful like you? Do you think he'll be as great as you are? Before I fill in the blanks, parents, if you are a parent in the room, and somebody asked you about your child, do you think they would be as great as you? In the chat box, as quickly as possible, what would your response be? Quickly. Paris, yours was but yeah, greater than me, like father, like son, better than me. Of course, they'll be better. You see, that's the general response. Yeah, my son will go beyond me. Do you know what Ronaldo said in front of the world press, video cameras, and his son, his other children, and the mother of his children was there as well? Do you know what he said? He said, I don't know. And that shocked me. He said, I don't know. This is why he said that. He said, he still drinks soda. Yeah. When I tell him after training to jump in the ice bath, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to jump in an ice bath. Can you imagine jumping into a bathtub filled with ice? Because it helps with an athlete the muscles to recover much faster. It helps you to cool down, and also for that recovery over time. When I tell him to get up to go and train, sometimes he doesn't want to go. So I don't know. Why was he saying this? Ronaldo was saying this because he knew the cost of success. He knew to be one of the world's best, if arguably the best. Yeah. He knew that if I am to be the best, I have to train harder than everybody else. I have to show up on time. When I do train, I need to recover much faster. Do you remember that whole controversy? I can't remember which tournament it was that he was at, in one of the US, and there was, Coca-Cola that was put there in front of all the players. And he came and literally picked it up and put it off on the side and said, drink water. Don't drink this sugar. What he was saying was, I have made the sacrifices and choices. Yes, I've been blessed with talent, but talent doesn't mean anything. Yes, I've been blessed with talent. I know how things work. I know how soccer is played. Come on. Even me who's not a soccer fan, I know pretty much all the rules of soccer now. Yeah, I do. So knowing the rules doesn't make a difference. It's in the actions that the things change. So as I get to my short story before we finish up, ladies and gentlemen, you may be asking all those goals that you listed here, the success, the outcomes that you're looking for, and you're saying, Waithaka, do you think if I come into the Centonomy 101 program, do you think I can succeed? I don't know. Because it's not in the knowledge, It's in the action. And we do our very best to get you to start acting. If you listen to the couple who are speaking before me, they said, when we got into the class, we were challenged to come and do this. So when we did it, it opened our eyes. Then we were challenged to do this. When we did it, it opened our eyes. So it's in the action that the real transformation happens. And that's one of the powerful things of the class, because in the class, you get to do it. You actually start. You must hand in some of the assignments that are going to do and the activities that we're supposed to do. So it's in that action that the shift happens. So are you going to be success? I don't know. When I think about myself, see, it's Project Shrink this year. I don't know why I'm telling you guys, but hopefully maybe you might follow and keep me accountable. I want to shrink. Will it happen? I know how to do it. I know. I need to exercise. I need to eat healthier, eat less. That's it. It's as simple as that. Will I? Let's find out. So back to my story about the football. And so my nephew came over, and he's the one who had told us, look, buy this thing, it's going to be fun. So we put it in and we started playing. And my 13-year-old nephew embarrassed me. I've been playing video games. It's one of my things I love to do pretty much all my life, yeah. It started off when a friend of ours down the road got the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So you know how long ago that was, with the original Super Mario Brothers. Even before that, we used to have those Game & Watch things, right? Some people here don't even know what a Game & Watch is. So just know I've been a gamer, okay? And my nephew has never beaten me. But not only was he beating me, but he was beating me in front of my entire family, including all my children. All right? That's what happened to me this holiday. And he continued to do so multiple times, because I invited them over. It was a gaming day. We had lunch and everything, and we were just saying video games and stuff, and he beat me. He also beat everybody else in the house. Like he's like excellent at the game, and he's been practicing it for a while. And this bothered me. This deeply bothered me. So I had a choice in that moment. I had a choice, and all of us had a choice to sit back and just take the beating or to do something about it. In that moment, I decided, next time he comes to visit, I'm going to be ready. So he had given me some tips on how to do it, but I went on the internet as well, and I Googled, how do you play? This is my holiday getaway and everything. I Googled it. I went to YouTube. I planned those things. I've been practicing. I've been playing against the game, and I've been taking it from one level to the next, going through all those kind of things. And let me tell you, the next time he came, I'm sorry to say, but the next time he came to visit was a couple of weeks after that. I was ready for the boy, and I put him in his place. I told him, yes, you're the young one, okay? Yeah, but hey, I still know how to do a few things or not, right? And I don't know, maybe he'll get better, but I was determined, and it took practice, it took time, it took not just knowledge of the game and my history, but I needed to learn new skills. Now I have another 13-year-old in my home, and she's also been interested in the soccer game, and we're just having a discussion before I came down here, because on Fridays during the week they don't get to play video games, they don't get to watch stuff. Fridays, the day they get to, when they come home from school, they can spend some time there. And she was saying, we had played the last time and I destroyed her as well. And she was like, what do I, can I practice while I'm not there? Yeah, but you're practicing with the things that you know, right? She's trying to play a game against the computer. I'm like, no, that's not where to get the skill set to get to where you are. There are training modules that are there that you can go through to learn and get better. Yeah, but it takes time. Yeah, but it's not as exciting because you have to do the same thing over and over and over, repetition. And if you don't do it right, you have to start over again. Here's the point. Long story short. These kids won't catch up to me because I have the principle. They may have better motor skills. You know, as you go older, your motor skills reduce. Now, obviously, I'm not that old, but as a kid, you learn faster, isn't it? But if they don't practice, if they don't put in the efforts, if they don't have the repetition, I'll always have an edge on them. Here's the thing. The principles of success work in FIFA 23 and they work in your life. If you repeat a habit over and over again, it sticks, good or bad. That's the unfortunate thing. Good or bad, it sticks. So the 101 program is designed to teach you new habits that are good for you, that once they stick, when all these savings goals come into place, management of debt, money management come into play, they stick because of practice. Ladies and gentlemen, you're asking why? This is why. Because when you get into it, you become like me in the training sessions. Late at night, during the holidays, that was I need to get away from work, to get away from all the other things. Kids go to sleep and I'm on the PlayStation, learning. How do you pass it? How do you head up to put people in their place? Same thing happened with our finances 10 years ago. We had no clue how we were managed. We didn't know where our money is going. And the simple process that we went through, the simple processes of where is the money going? Where is money coming from? Where is it going? Just to be aware. First of all, that awareness woke us up to guess what? We had more money than we thought, but we were spending it on things that we didn't know about. Now we could make choices. And once we could make those choices, it began to open up opportunities for investments that we didn't know. That thought process of guess what? I have extra time. Can I try a new skill? Has opened up a job from being a part-time trainer at Centonomy to being the CEO of this company, the person thinking about a job. Small shift, practiced over time, it opens the door for you. Are you ready to shift? Because it is a personal shift that you're going to make. And it doesn't happen by attending these free webinars. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It happens in the action. What I said earlier on, it's in the action, not the knowledge. Because here there's no practice here. I've not sent you the notes in advance for you to come in and be able to follow along. I've not sent you the templates that we're going to build on. I've not done that. We've not done that here. So there's no practice that's happening. I'm still trying to get you to commit and come into that same place that we can get past this simple runaround that we've been doing. One last story before we start plotting our way to the success we want to have. I listen widely and I love, yes, the 101, can it be done totally on Zoom? Yes, the Centonomy 101 program is now completely online. So you can take the program from wherever you are in the world. So even if you travel, so long as you have access to Zoom, to internet, you can be able to log into the class and get into it. So yes. All right. So now we have no more excuses about, oh, I had to travel. Yes, when you travel, go up country, put your network, sit for the class. That's what we're doing. Now, because there's a commitment that we're going to do. Hey, Jesse, please. If we can only learn these principles, they're simple. They're really simple. But they're not easy. We'll talk about that later on. There's a difference between simplicity and ease. So one more example. One of my favorite speakers, and he's a brilliant scientist, is a gentleman called Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson is an astrophysicist. He's also, I think it's the Hidden Planetarium, the New York Museum. I forget, Natural History Museum. Yes. Anyway, look for him on YouTube. You'll find Neil deGrasse Tyson. So he was trying to say, what are the predictors of success? You want to predict success. And he made it into a mathematical problem. How do you know you're going to find success? And he says, just pick multiple factors and see which of these factors are going to give you a volume within which He was doing it mathematically, volume within which the general idea of success is going to be found. So you're saying, like, if you want to be a great athlete, yes, so you need to have some athletic ability, yeah, so that's a major factor in it. You also need to be able to be disciplined. So you're saying, let's say that's the x-axis, yes, and it says discipline is the y-axis. So now you have, if you've got athletic ability but you have no discipline, doesn't matter, you can play to a certain level. Neil deGrasse Tyson Neil deGrasse Tyson is the name, Stella. So he said, yes, so you have athletic ability, but you have no, and that's how we interact in the class, by the way. This is how it's supposed to be. Now we're using the webinar format because simply we have too many people, over 400 people in the session. You can't be able to interact the way we would like to. Usually have our cameras on. You can be able to unmute. We have discussions, okay? So thank you for bearing with me as we go through this. That's how the class would work. But now we're too many for that, right? So he said, athletic ability and discipline. So he was like, if you've got great athletic ability, a lot, but you have no discipline, right? No discipline, then you can't find success because the area is not there, okay? Also, if you're very disciplined, but you have no athletic ability, if you want to be an athlete, you're in the wrong field, right? You just need to get out. So let's say you have both. You have athletic ability and you have some discipline, but that's not enough. You need, let's say, exposure. So that's now the, what is it called? The z-axis. So we've got X, Y, and Z. Exposure means, are you playing in front of the right kind of people, scouts, who would take you to the kind of colleges or the kind of academies that will allow you? So that's a factor. So there's a lot of soccer talent, for instance, on the continent of Africa, but it's not exposed to the right, it doesn't get the right exposure. So that's a function that you're going to talk about there. And then in that, do you have maybe money? Money is another part because money allows you to be able to get the exposure and also to move to the various places. So he's saying if you have all these factors, then it can show you, will you be successful like as a soccer player? But here's the thing that caught my attention, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to pay attention to this carefully. He said, the thing is, when you're calculating volume, right, it's a multiplication, isn't it? So it is X times Y times Z, right? So then you get the volume that you're looking for, and you can add other factors, okay? If any of those factors is zero, then you have zero chance of success because it's multiplication. And you know, if you're multiplying by zero, ladies and gentlemen, if you're multiplying by zero, then the answer is what? Zero. So one of the other benefits of the Centonomy 101 class is, have a look at this, have a look at this, the exposure, so that now as many factors for this volume of success are in place. So we don't just talk about investing in shares. We talk about the principle that comes from investing in the stock market, because in the stock market, you're looking for higher rates of return, which comes with higher possible rates of return, which come with higher risk. So we talk about higher risk investments. So you're not, in as much as you're learning about shares in the market, that's not the principle. The principle is higher risk investments for higher potential return. So we've increased your knowledge on that. It's helping, it's increasing the possibility of outcome. Remember, you've put an extra bandwidth on you for that. Then we talk about investment in bonds. So now you have bonds, you have shares, the parameters are growing. So even if you don't have a lot of knowledge in each one of them, the area within which you're learning will expand. Then we talk about property and real estate. So now we talk about more liquid and fixed investments separately and how they function. You're increasing it. Then we start talking about how to protect your money. How do you protect your money? Insurance. So you have some knowledge about insurance that increases the volume and the likelihood of success. Then we talk about estate planning put together in a will. It increases the volume, likelihood of success. Then we talk about taxes, increases the volume, likelihood of success. So we're trying to make you as holistic in your knowledge of wealth as possible to increase the likelihood of success. Not only that, but we also give you the money management tools that are designed to help you find that success. It's not in a one session. I told you, At the end of this class, I'm going to take as many questions as possible. I'll answer them. All those questions about how does this investment work. If I know, I'll tell you. And if I'm not sure, we can be able to find out from the other trainers, because I told you I have multiple trainers, all experts in their fields. Getting them out of their sessions is hard. So they come into the class, we've scheduled their whole year. That's why they're there. So I'm the one, and our team, Mike and Washeke, we are the ones who are available to talk about the program, and then you come and meet the trainers there. But here's the thing. As you get exposed to each one of them, the likelihood of success increases, and that's where the success is going to be found. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not kid ourselves, all right? It is now time for us to figure this out. Step one, number one, I hope we're ready for this, is number one, I do not want you to fail. I don't want you to fail. That's number one. That's the first level. We don't want failure. Oof. So can we give you an example of what that looks like, if you don't mind? So let's do this together now. So let's break it down as we do practically in the session. And I don't want you to be a failure. This is something I did for my sister over this holiday. She came home to visit, which was amazing. And we did this together. And then she got one of her other friends, and she'll be in the class with you guys starting next week. And it's the starting point. This is simply just a beginning, okay? Let me ask you this. If you worked at a job, right, and grew in a career for 20 to 30 years, and after you left that career, you didn't have enough to sustain your life, would you consider that to be success or failure? In the chat box. You worked 20, 30 years diligently, took your children to school, did all the various things, but after you've done that, you couldn't sustain your life. And so now you're wondering, how do I live? Would that be success or failure? Okay. So it's more leaning towards failure, okay? Okay, Diana thinks both. Diana, I want to hear from you. I'd love to hear different thought processes. So let me look for Diana here. Diana, I love your alternative thinking. Why don't you switch on your mic and give me your thoughts on it? You said both. I love when somebody thinks differently. Hi, Diana.
Hi there, guys.
Hey.
Hey, so my thinking is, it's been 30 years of your life. Eventually, you have not managed to come out with, some credible amount of money to sustain you moving forward. But you're talking about 30 years of you managing to, I'd say, survive, You've taken your kid to school, you've managed to, put everything all together. So it's a yin yang, you know, you managed to do whatever you did in 30 years and God knows what's going to happen in the next.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not trying to be a predictor of the future and what could come out of it, but I'm just trying to say, the initial outcome, I like that you said both. So you're not saying it was a complete failure, but one of the reasons that you're working is to build assets, isn't it? To sustain your life and to be able to grow from there. So if that's not achieved, then it was that part of the goal or the outcome you're hoping for was not done. So if you look at the responses from everyone else, and thank you so much for that, Diana, I really appreciate your response and your candor. If you look at what it is, it's majority of the people who are looking at it were just like, no, that's not what I was aiming for, isn't it? Because there was possibly an outcome that you were looking for, okay? So think about it that way. It would be if there was an outcome that you were expecting, and that's what we are talking about. So the idea of the program is that you will get to a point at which your wealth will sustain you. What you've been doing, the work that you've been doing can then sustain you throughout that period of time, okay? That's just one way. Now, have you noticed that I'm not fighting any of the responses that you're getting there, okay? People saying it's a success, and this is a kind of debate that we're going to go through because we measure things differently. And for each one of us, the outcome may be different. But for those who said it maybe is a failure, then let's begin to work it out and begin to see what that looks like. So when we were doing this with my dear sister and a friend, she was like, okay, so what are you hoping to do? I'm hoping that at some point, she has over this lifetime been able to put together a home. But she's renting it, okay? Renting it to someone else. And she's saying, when I retire, I'll move into renting now, but I'll use later, yeah? So there's a place that she's using. So in terms of housing, she already has something that's there, okay? Then we said, what else would do? What else is there? I don't know, see, I'll be living in my home. And I'm like, okay, so here's something for us to think about. Please remember, and this is a key part of the lessons that you're going to learn when you come into the Centonomy 101 program, is your home is not wealth in and of itself. Why? Because it is not free to live in your own home. If you've never heard it before, hear it now. It's not free. So can I hear from those who are in the room who are living in their own place? Is it free to live in your own house? Yes or no in the chat box, please, because I don't want to be saying things that are, it is not free. You maintain that house, you keep it, you pay taxes on that place. It is not free. If anything is broken, you're the one who fixes it. So yes, you're not paying rent, but that house is required to be maintained. If it has a lawn outside, that lawn has to be manicured, isn't it, and taken care of. It is expensive. Now, is it as expensive as renting? We can debate about that. But what I'm just trying to say is it is not free. So I was asking her, so how will you be there? So I need what? What do you need in order to survive in your own home? Excuse me. Income. Great. So what sources of income do you think you're going to get when you retire? Hey, in the chat box. What sources of income do you think? And so she started listing them and saying, so I have my pension, which I've been saying, and working with the Retirement Benefits Authority here in Kenya, we found that most people, especially in Africa, I know those who are in the diaspora, there's difference as far as pensions are concerned, because there are slight changes as far as the investment strategy and also the cost of living. So it shifts different places. But working with the Retirement Benefits Authority here in Kenya, they were saying pension, where there has been a contribution consistently over a working life, will cater for about 30% of your needs, yes, in retirement. Okay, great. So when I said that, she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, and we did the calculations. The mathematics is simple, ladies and gentlemen. What does that mean? If I have been investing 5 to 10% of my income, 5 to 10% of my income per month in a relatively safe investment for a long period of time, 5 to 10% of your income cannot magically become 100% of your needs. The math doesn't work, and most people are giving in that range between 5 and 10%, right? So that's it. Good. So then other investments. So Neshnesh, I like your response in saying rental income. But remember what was her plan? She's currently renting that property to someone else. Yes. She's currently renting that property to someone else. And so her intention is to move into that. So she will not have that rental income. So this is about as far as we got. So when we got to this point, she was like, wow, okay. So what do we do? Because she's now about 10 years out, about 10 years out from retirement. So we started breaking it down and saying, what are we going to start doing now? The investments that we're making now, so that they are able to pay you a cash flow when you retire. And she was like, hey, okay, but where's the money? So this is what we started doing. And this is what you're going to go through. We just started listing expenses. And this is one of the first sessions that we're going to do. And we give you a full template. We show you that we train you to go through it. This is just, I told you as an example that we're going to say. So she said, so I have rent, I have loans. And she had forgotten about the loans. Because remember, loans come out of your paycheck. For many people, they come out of your paycheck just like that. It's not, you don't even notice it. But when I mentioned it, she's still paying a mortgage on the house that she's renting. I mean, this is it. So we're so used to that habit that it doesn't become part of who we are. So she had the rent, she had what else was there? There was school fees, right? And as we were going through it, she was like, as she started saying, she listed the main ones. That's rent, school fees. Then we have shopping, monthly shop, monthly shop. Then this was the thing that caught her attention, monthly shop. So she initially said 7,000. Then I looked at her. You have children in your house. You're not alone in this place, and you spend 7,000 on shopping in a month, because it's about $70 a month, or less than $70 a month. I was like, how in the world do you? Oh, yeah, sorry. So she was like, oh, that's the 7,000 for the shopping at the supermarket. Then, oh yeah, there's the market where I get my groceries from. Oh yeah. And then there's the milk and bread, which we buy every day. In 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, she was like, oh, so my budget for shopping is not, in her mind, this is what happens, lack of awareness. In her mind, my shopping was 7,000. And most people who come into the class find that they think this is the amount. After the first week, they come back and are saying, I did not know. Now, it's not that you're doing a bad thing with the money. It's just there was a lack of awareness, so you can't make choices. So we went through the list all the way down. And then she realized, I see now where my money goes. And I didn't know this. So now we started working on it and saying, okay, so if this is how your money is functioning, what choices can you make? Because those choices are the ones that are going to free up the cash that is required to invest so that you can have the outcome that we have listed here, which is to live comfortably in retirement. Because that's the first level. Just like me, this is how it was. When we did it, same thing. It first showed us, oh, I didn't know that. What choices can we make? And then we begin to move towards the goals that we've set. But ladies and gentlemen, this is just level one. This is level one. At the end of that discussion, all we had discussed is how can you maintain your lifestyle when you retire. I don't know how many of you got excited by that. Do you? Anyone here? Give me a yes or no in the chat box. You want to maintain. What, did you come into this session to find out how to maintain, to live the same way you're living right now? I want to at least just maintain. How many of you that got you excited? You now have said, this is now what we're talking about. So for some people, it's sufficient. For some people, it's okay. I told you that's level one. And so when we come through the program, that's what we get started on, okay? We start off by saying, at least let's not fail. Let's say this is the outcome that we're looking for. So the next level, and this is what we're here for. This is why the program is so transformative, is to say, okay, we've got the basics right. Let's not fail. Let's at least maintain and be building towards something. Because let me tell you, not the opposite, but to regress would be even worse, isn't it? Maintain is fine. Maintain is just okay. But to regress is what we are trying to fight against. So that's the failure that I was discussing. And we don't want to get into that same space. But for most of us in this room, we're trying to think, how do we increase? That's what gets us excited. That's what gets us up. And now we begin to think together. So after we had done this assessment together with my dear friend, I told her, okay, this is the work that's going to be required to maintain. So it's taking control of what you have, all right? Taking control of what you have. And this is a principle that you're going to learn when you come into the class about paying yourself first. It's not an issue of being, how would I say, selfish, but rather being controlled. You have an outcome that you're aiming for and you have control. So paying yourself first and tracking your expenses. This is the basic part of it. But if we are saying we want to increase, then we have to do the more. We are now Ronaldo's son, where the question is, do we know whether we're willing to do it? So for my friend, we sat down and said, so does this get you excited? She said, no. So I said, okay, so what would? Man, I want to be able to travel after I retire. I mean, what's all this hard work without having the ability to travel? So we said, okay, what would it take for you to be able to travel? So we put down some numbers and we said, okay, I'd like to travel at this amount. Okay, so how do we get there? Suddenly she realized, and this is the thing, suddenly she realized, I can't continue to earn the same amount that I'm earning now and expect to get the outcome that I'm looking for. So it began to shift her mindset to think, remember I told you, it's about shifting mindset. So if I need to earn more, then what must I do? And I gave her the example of one of my classmates. It was the best experience that I've had, because when it's somebody who you know and you've come from the same background and you know one another, and they come into the class and you're able to share this knowledge, it's such a blessing. I got to train one of my friends. He came into the Centonomy 101 class. We went to high school together, and he's now a doctor, he's a surgeon. And he came and sat in the class, which I found so humbling. He's a surgeon and he's coming to learn about money. And I'm telling you, the kind of networking you're going to do is amazing in the class. So he came and one of the challenges was, what are you doing with your time? Okay, what are you doing with your time? Because that time can help you to assist. And to a surgeon, he's saying, look, I do my rounds at this hospital. I have my rounds at this other hospital. I'm a busy person. I said, okay, just go and do an assessment of your time. And he said, you know what? When I assessed, I found that I could do an extra 4 to 5 hours of clinics per week. And it wouldn't be a huge shift for me in terms of time. So he said he found a clinic that he can be able to use and did so. The first month within which he was in the Centonomy program, because he increased his clinic hours, just 5 hours a week to about an hour a day, he had increased his income by over 400,000 shillings. Tell me that is not the shift that you're looking for. Now, yes, I hear you saying, yes, but he's a surgeon. Yes, therefore he can charge fees that are different. No problem. Let me give you another example. There was a lady, and she just said, you know what? I love to shop. And so she said, one of the things that I do, because I like to look good, she's just kind of one of those people, I go and I look for the best deal. So I go in Kenya, we have a place called Gikomba. Most of you might know it. It's a secondhand clothes market. You can get really good quality stuff there. It's a secondhand, but you have to really do the work of finding it. And she said, you know what? When I go next time, I won't just get stuff for me. I'll get stuff that I think my friends and my colleagues and my church mates look good in as well, and bring it as well. And she started doing that, and she increased her income per month by 25,000 shillings. What are you sitting on right now that is going to shift the way that you think? One more example, because all the example I'll give is business, isn't it? And people are saying, I'm not here to learn business, I'm an employee. Good. We had a lady who came to the Centonomy program, and she went and negotiated for a salary increase because she had never negotiated before. Many of us are earning what we earn because we've never sat down and asked for more. What are you waiting for? Here's what we're waiting for. We don't want to be more. Because here's the thing. If you come and sit across from me, I'm your employer. and you're asking for more money. Why? What are you doing that is different? And so the shift in mindset was, I need to do more. I need to be more. And then I can make the argument for that. And that was, I share this all the time because that was one of the best pieces of advice I got in my life. Was in my first job, where my employer told me, Waithaka, this is a small organization. Don't just do what you're told, get involved. And so I learned from my first job to get involved. Try this, try that. Is everything going to work? No. But you begin to see how you can be of a value add to every place so that people can't live without you. And that's the second shift. Now we're not talking about just living the life that you want, that to survive. We're living to thrive, the abundant life. Now, is it easy? No. Is it simple? Yes, if you apply yourself. Where you're seated right now, there is such potential, and that potential can only be released and unleashed if you take the time to do so. Remember, we talked about the parameters. Remember the Neil deGrasse? One of those parameters that define success is the amount of time that you spend working on an issue. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the shifts of coming into the Centonomy 101 program, is that you will be spending 2.5 hours minimum per week thinking about your investments. That simply has made a shift in your life that you had not had before. Simply by spending 2.5 hours consistently over time, thinking about where my money is going and what I'm doing about it, immediately there will be a shift. Immediately. Just simply because you have taken time. But it's so easy to come and think that I'm coming, every free webinar that's Centonomy, I'm coming for that web. Good, no problem, no problem. You come, we'll continue to help you out. But those who take that and say, you know what, let me try it. We have an installment plan. So you don't even have to pay the full fee upfront, right? Let me be that buyer. That buyer who comes and says, okay, let me try a little bit and then see. No problem. I'm yet to see one student, one in the many years that I've been doing this at Centonomy, come and say after module 4, this was not for me. I have not learned anything. I don't even want to hear what's coming next. That small shift, the action is where the shift happens. That's it. So there are many of us in this room who have been saying, I'll come later, I'll do it another time, I'll do it another time. Remember, nothing, and I'm just going to be as honest as I can be with you as well. We are in business and we're in the same environment of inflation. So it will not be the same cost over time. And there are those, Centonomy 101 started as a program. Oh, you people saw, I saw that people were asking, yes, sure, let me show you again. The program started at less than half this amount. It was 22,000 shillings when we began the program? It's now over 44,000 shillings. Many people are coming to us now and saying, I wish I had done this when it was 20,000 bob. But listen, we're in business too. And so we want to be able to grow beyond this point. And we cannot grow if we continue to sell the same product at the same price. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time. We have a couples offer, Kenneth. It's coming, fear not. I'm coming to that just now. To take action. That's what I want for you. It's not just to sit. I'm going to answer all the investment questions just now, as many as I possibly can. Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll take those questions and we'll do it, but that's not enough because it's that consistency, the habit. We're building that strength. We're being like Ronaldo, who's saying, I don't drink soda because soda will affect my ability to earn $100 million in. Do you get what I mean? When you put $100 million in drinking soda next, you make choices. So Each one of you has given us your time, and we appreciate it. But listen to me. Listen to me. It is time to take action. Can I give you the 3 points? Because I always do this, whichever session I'm taking, because I know some people will leave, and that's okay. You will come when you're ready. The rest of us will keep moving, and catching up will not be as simple as you think. So let me give you the 3 points that just quickly help you to start thinking about your wealth creation journey differently. Write them down. We expand on them in the program, but I always like to leave people with some thought process. Here's how to think about growing wealth. Pay yourself first as a principle. Paying yourself first is not just, enjoyment and all those kind of things. It's putting money towards your goals, including enjoyment. Hey, please, we don't come. Abundant life is not just about being a miser and not spending on. No, it's spending on yourself, but spending with purpose. That's the difference. So write that down as a principle. Because what we tend to do with our money, and we'll discuss this in the class, is when we get our cash, we pay everybody else. We pay the government, then we pay our landlord, then we pay. So we have to pay the church. We have so many different people we pay before we have even thought about ourselves. Where is the money that's taking care of us? So it's a shift in mindset that we're going to discuss when you come into the class. Number 2, write this down, track your spending, and start now. Next week, we'll give you a spending tracker that you can be able to use and other tools that can help you keep track. But it is a requirement of the program to track for at least a month. That's why we start near the beginning of the month. So by the end of the month of February, we'll know where your money is going. It is mind-blowing. Start it now and you can begin there even as we go forward. And tip number 3, we always give this because if we can start implementing them, it makes a difference. Focus on what? Assets, all right? Assets, write them down, protect your investment, they earn you some income and they gain in value over time, okay? Here's a simpler way of putting that before we take questions on this session. Simpler way of putting this is this. Assets put money in your pocket, okay? I'll give you an example. This chair that I'm sitting on. So it is an asset in that it has value, but it's never going to put money in my pocket because I use it. It's for consumption. So even if it has monetary value, I'm not aiming for a return. And if I do eventually sell it on, I'll get less than what I spent on it. So it's not an asset in the same way that you think about. So assets put money in your pocket, okay? And what we're going to do in the program is this essentially, which is setting out the vision. And we're not limiting that vision. But when you have a vision, you have to make it a goal. And a goal has parameters. It is specific. It is time-bound, all right? There are steps that you can take towards that goal, all right? There's specific steps. Because when you set the goal, then you take action on it. And that's what the 101 program is about. That's what it is. So it is orderly, it is purposeful, it flows. We start off with understanding how money works quickly. People think it's a budgeting class. Centonomy 101 is not about budgeting because you already know how to budget. We're just tweaking your budget process in line with what? Your goals. Then we talk about time value of money. Now, this is probably the class that most people have not done unless you're an accountant. And many times as accountants, you do this for clients, you've never done it for yourself. So we use this for you. It's a planning tool to say, what will my life cost? What does my goal cost in future? How do I plan and work out the strategy for growth? Then we go through the debt class. And in the debt class, we use practical tools so that you begin to understand and work through this, okay? Here's how it looks. So we use tools such as the loan amortization schedule, things that people have never seen. So to give you, this is what you get in the class. So to give you an idea, if I borrowed 1.7 million at 15% to buy a car and pay it for over a 5-year period of time, right? So that means it shows you now how much your loan payment will be, 40,000 per month for 60 months. Then there's another number that we don't normally see. And this is a tool we give you. So the difference between this trial class and when you come into the class is before the class begins, you receive the tools and the notes in advance. So on your own computer, as we're going through the class, you're able to try it out yourself. And afterwards, you have it as well to be able to use as we go forward. This is the other number I told you that many of us have never seen. It's the interest. So over this 60 months or 5 years, I will pay 726,000 in interest alone. So I didn't pay back 1.7 million. I paid 1.7 plus 700,000, which is how much is that now? 2.4 million for a car. So how do we make some decisions around that? So people always wonder now, for instance, like if I take a mortgage, so people say, oh, I've seen a nice house for 10 million out there. Is that 10 or 100 million? Yes. And they're giving a mortgage at 12% and they're giving it for 20 years. Okay. So when you come into the class now, we can discuss and you can begin to see the mortgage amount that you'll be paying monthly, the amount of period, and also the interest. Many of us have never seen the interest on a mortgage like this before. So you're not paying back 10 million, you're paying back 10 million plus 16 million in interest, right? So how does this math work? How do we make this work for ourselves? How can we reduce this amount of interest over the period of time that we want to do? How do we even buy a house if we're going to do this? So we talk about it from a practical perspective. Not only that, but we also begin to think about, if I have debts, what am I going to do, and work through on this. This is how practical it gets. And we give you that plan, even what we're going to do. Don't be stressed. Oh, no, I've heard, gosh, I'm stressed now with this tool. No, listen, we use the tool for your benefit. It has been used already. So what are we going to do? How do we overcome? It's good to know, so you make choices. Don't run away. Don't run away from us. Yeah. So that's how detailed we get, and we give you the debt repayment plan as well. Let's get back to where we were just now. So then after that, now we get into the Living Abundantly class. We have a life coach who helps you to set goals and set yourself up for the outcomes that you're looking for. Then we get into the investment classes, all taught by industry experts, okay? So they're not talking about things, the person talking about shares, fund manager, managing billions in funds somewhere. Person talking about real estate is doing real estate. Talking about bonds and unit trusts, the same thing, okay? So you're able to ask the right questions and get the perspective on how these things work for you. Then we get into the protection classes, insurance taught by an insurance broker, but not coming to sell you insurance, telling you how insurance works. We have an estate planning lawyer. So a lawyer telling you what are the parameters that you need to have to protect your wealth, not just after you leave the world, but even while you're still on this world. Talk about taxes, the tax expert, just so that you know what are your obligations, making sure you're paying the right amount of tax, not more, not less, just enough. And then we take all that knowledge and say, good, now we know what are the actions we are going to take, and we put it together into a 5-year financial plan in module 11. We have a template that we use, and then we give you all the details to fill in so that you're able to start taking action immediately. That's just one of the templates that we're giving. In module 1, we give you a budget template, we give you a balance sheet template, we give you in module 2, we give you an emergency fund template. Somebody was talking about an emergency fund earlier. We help you to see how to do that. We have another template called an irregular expenses template. We help you with every tool that you need to put this together. And at the end, we talk about the power of investing together, investment groups, chamas, and how we can help ourselves to implement over time. So the classes are starting next week on the 9th, Thursday the 9th. So you have some time to prepare, but take advantage of the registration offer, which is on today. Anytime that we have sessions like this, because you've given us your time, we always want to give back. So you can register today for only 500 shillings and then pay the first installment, only the first installment of 16,000 by next week, so that you get into the class. So that's 16,500 between now and next Thursday, and you have the first 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, you pay the next installment of 16,000. Then after another 4 weeks, you pay the last installment of 12,500. It's because we know cash flows, how they work. All right. For those who are in Kenya, we have the Mpesa Paybill number, which is 986850. You put in your name and the word and the numbers 101 after, so we know which program you're coming for at Centonomy. Somebody had asked for couples. We have a couples discount. If you sign up as a couple, 10% off the tuition. All right? Because we want you to learn together. It's really powerful when you come as a team, as you heard from the couples who are speaking before me. So this is the time to be able to take advantage of that. So those who are taking, just take a quick screenshot of this, or you can write it down real quick. Mpesa 986850. My name is the account and 101 following that. So in the account number, just put your name. So in my case, it would be Waithaka 101. Okay, name. Those of you who are not using that, we can be able to share with you details. If you're outside of the country, please take down the email address at the bottom there, nancy@centonomy.com. If you're outside of the country, we want to pay in a different currency, we can send you the bank details so that you can use dollars. It will be $5 to register, $5 US to register, and we'll send you the bank details directly to you. So please take that email down. And if you want the phone number as well, it's there, +254 700 36433 at the bottom there, and email Nancy and she'll assist you. For those who pay via Mpesa, because it comes with your details, we will now reach out to you with the orientation pack so that you get information before the classes begin, get you ready for class, which is starting next week. So this is the time to do so. Classes start, as I said, next week on the 9th and the 11th. 9th is the Thursday at 6:30 p.m. East African time, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. East African time. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. East African time. The same class runs on that week, the same class. So next week is module 1. So we'll do personal money management on Thursday and on Saturday. So those are the 2 classes that are available. All right. So you pick one of them and you come. If you know I'm not going to be available on Saturday, you're welcome to come in on Thursday. If you know Thursday, things are too tight, you can come in on Saturday. But it is vital to attend the class each week. All right. So it's the same class taught every week, 1 class per week, 1 class per week for 2.5 hours. And that time flies, let me tell you, it flies by as we get into that session. So take advantage of that registration discount and then the payments that are going to come through, 500 shillings today, and then you can pay the first installment before next week's class, 16K, and then 16,000 4 weeks after that, and another 12,500 8 weeks from now. All right, we try and make it as good as possible for you. Remember the couples discount, if you come as a team, we shall give you 10% off on the registration fee. So I'll leave this up, and in case you're outside of the country and you need help, the person to email is nancy@centonomy.com, and she'll send you the payment details from outside the country. It's to a specific bank account. It's just $5 to register, and then she'll give you the payment plan in USD from wherever you are. So I've talked a lot. I want to take as many questions as possible. So if you have questions, kindly use the Q&A space. That's what we're going to use for the questions. If you're in Uganda, you can use the bank payment unless you have access to the Mpesa, which is one of the other ways that you can be able to do. What if you have 2 similar names? That's okay, there's no problem. Because when you make a payment via Mpesa, it comes with your phone number as well. So we're able to reach out to you that way. And if there's any other issue, you can still reach out to nancy@centonomy.com so that you're able to work through that. And is the payment for registration 500 all through next week, or is only the discount? It's for today, because what happens is difficult for us to tell people from other places. This is the benefit for you, so take advantage of it. But if you need any assistance around that, please do reach out to nancy@centonomy.com so that we can be able to do. Couples in Tanzania, and we live in different provinces, will this work? 100% yes, because now we work digitally. So you show up from wherever you are. That's the power of this class. Yes, so if you need bank details, Stella, if that's another way that you want to do it, no problem. Just email nancy@centonomy.com. She'll assist you with that. to be able to do. 10% off the tuition. So you get 4,450 off each. Okay, 4,000. Yes, that's 10%. I did that math very quickly. Yes, 4,450 each. That's 8,000. 8,000 what? 900 in total. Had to do that maths quick, Martin. That's a real good question. Here's a good question. Abel is saying that she's heard of different. Thank you so much, Steve, for putting the bank details. In case somebody's looking for those bank details, they're there in the chat. So just look for one of the last chat payment details for students. Yeah, you can just copy that and keep it for you. Somebody's asking Centonomy 101 or the Centonomy Entrepreneur. It's really simple. Everyone needs to do Centonomy 101 because whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you need to learn how to manage your money. And many times, if you're an entrepreneur and you have not managed your own money, you'll often steal from your own business. So get your house in order first. It's a great place to start. Okay. So how do you register as a couple? You just simply send for 1,000 bob, which is for 2 people, right? Simple as that. So it's 2 people. So 500 times 2, so send 1,000 shillings. And then when you're paying the first installment, you'll get that 10% off, all right? Which will be 16,000. That's 1,600 times 2 is what? 3,200 off. That's how it is, okay? Excellent. Now let's get to the questions around what we're going to do. Excellent. You guys are amazing. How do you get out of bad debt? So the process that we go through, Albert, how do I get out of bad debt is number 1, to stop taking debt to manage what you're doing, which means you have to manage your cash flows. That's number 1. Number 2 is to pay your debts as quickly as possible. So the faster you pay down your debt, the better. So extra payments towards your debt. So you have to find extra cash that's going to do that. And then it's to prioritize your debt based on time. And that's what we show you in the time in the debt class, is how to prioritize your debt based on the amount of time that is going to go through. So in module 3, we handle that in detail. Module 3, we handle it in detail. So that you go, hello, what's your take on equity funds? Would you advise to invest in equity funds instead of a balanced fund? What did we say is the response around investments? What is the outcome that you're looking for? So equity funds are slightly higher risk, so slightly higher potential return over time. So depending on what investment you're working towards, you can select the right fund for you. I love that you know the difference between balanced equity funds. So you already know that these things called unit trusts have different outcomes. So you select the unit trust based on the outcome that you're trying to achieve. Really good question, Christine. Grace, glad to be here. Kindly advise on what to do with first-time loans. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, but essentially get out of debt as quickly as possible. So we always advise good debt goes towards assets. Yeah, bad debt is for consumption. So you want to make sure if you're going to take a loan, as much as possible, let it be for assets. Now, as I said, as much as possible. Not all the time are you going to take a loan for assets. Sometimes you want to buy a car or something like that, and that's okay. But then now you make choices that will not take away from the other options that are there. So a quick principle, just think about good debt goes towards assets. Look at that if you're looking about it, yeah? Kimani is asking, is it like a lecture or multiple choices, need notes, etc.? So we have training, the example that we're going through here, we've sent templates in advance. We have discussions and try and do group work together. And then you go and fill out your own templates because it's your life. You're living your own life. So we use case studies that we're going to be able to work through. Like I took you through my sister's friend, actually, who were helping out. But we have more detailed workflows that you'll have gotten through case studies so that we're able to say, oh, that's how they applied it. Now, how do I apply it to my life? We're currently renting, but we are land with the residential estate. Is building to rent or for later use or for sale wise. At my workplace, I can get a mortgage at 4% interest. That's amazing. Yeah, that kind of rate you can begin to think about a mortgage, but still remember it's a long-term loan and still interest factors is there. So you want to make sure that it is achieving the goal that you want. So if the mortgage is going to be for the home that you are going to live in when you retire, for example, that's an example. So what other assets are going to be there? So you have to have a holistic view. Remember, I told you all the various parameters, a holistic view. Then you make the choice based on what you're going to do. But generally at that kind of rate of mortgage, for home ownership, it's a good method to use. Generally, that's a good way to go. In your expert view, which is the best investment from your experience for beginners? The one that matches your goal. What would you say sets Centonomy apart from other companies, individuals providing a similar service? Our experience, the broad number of voices that you're going to hear, so you're not hearing just one opinion, you're hearing multiple opinions, that the detailed templates that we use that are going to help you in building that structure that you want to get through. And the differentiator is the people and the experience that you're going to get. When you talk about 14 years of experience, it's no joke. That's where the differentiating factor is. Many of these other companies that come up 5 years, 4 years, less than that. Centonomy, we've been doing this for long enough. We understand and work together with you. Please go through our YouTube channel, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll see all the testimonials of people who've done this program. They will tell you it's the differentiator. We've had people who do programs at universities and then come into our programs and say, why didn't they just explain it this way at university? I did many hours and now is when I'm understanding. That's the difference, yeah? We speak in plain language. It's not exams to make you fail. It is assignments and work to help you learn. Yeah, so much the differentiator. Rose, I have sent my first installment for next week's class. How will I know that I will be allowed in? My payment was not acknowledged. Rose, if you still have an issue and you've not been reached out to, just email Nancy@centonomy.com. She will assist you to get into this session. Don't worry about it. If the payment has come through, you're in. Fear not. Fear not. Just email Nancy and she'll be able to reach out to you as well. And because Nancy is in the room, she'll reach out to you even without being asked. How do I pay myself? You put money towards your goals. Good plan, Jeffrey. That was a really good question. Diana is asking, is there any chance to get a recorded session in case you unavoidably missed a week's session? There is, however, we are determined to help the discipline factor. And we've recognized that every time we are sending recordings, the level of discipline reduces, the actual follow-through reduces, and part of what makes Centonomy 101 works is the action points. All right, is the action points. And you'll get the support that you need. Diana, in the orientation pack, will explain how that works, okay? Any advice on using bank loan as capital to start business? Be very careful in that space. If you're an employee and you'll be able to pay the loan from your salary, then maybe possibly, but in general, to start, there are some issues around that because of the interest factor, and it takes time for business to get to break-even point. Bank loans are not patient money. At the start of a business, you need patient money, okay? Let me take a question from somebody who's raised their hand because you've been very patient. Anthony, you wanted to talk? Ask your question, Anthony, before we close this out. Good evening, Anthony. Okay, maybe you're not ready. Immaculate, you wanted to ask a question as well? Kindly, you can unmute and ask your question. Immaculate, because your hand was up. Don't worry, we'll also do Zoom practice so that we're able to see how it is done. We have a much smoother plan. Hello, if I'm able to pay off the loan quickly, what happens to the interest? So with reducing balance loans, paying in advance as quickly as possible reduces the amount of interest that you're going to pay because it doesn't compound more often as you reduce that. Yeah, so you're able to do that. And we show you with the template once you come into the class. Can I start a real estate business while I am an employee? Yes, you can. Simple. All right, guys, we've had a wonderful evening. You guys are amazing. Anthony, your hand is still up. Maureen, okay. Maureen, you want to ask a question as well? So I'll give you a moment. You can unmute yourself now, Maureen, and ask your question if you have. That's Maureen Munyao. You had raised your hand.
Can you hear me?
I can. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi. So I just want to have an opinion from you. Would you consider taking a loan to put into a fixed investment? Say the loan would have a 3% interest and the investment is at 15%. What do you say on that? It's not starting a business, but it's a fixed investment.
Okay. Yeah, I know we try and beat the system. Yeah, we try and beat the system like that. So here's the thing. The loan is guaranteed. You must repay. Okay.
True.
Investments tend, I'm yet to find a 100% guarantee investment on earth. I'm yet to find that one. And so should the parameters change at all, the burden still falls to you to repay that loan. So it's a risk that you're taking. Let me just put it that way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Waidaka.
Hi.
Hi, it's Anthony here. Sorry, my hand has been up for a while.
That's okay.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, quick question. Okay, so I have a credit card with a limit of £1,500.
You have quite a few people talking behind you, yeah?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I mean, let me head out to a quiet place. One second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was in a. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I have a credit card which has a limit £1,500. So would you? I believe that 16.9% APR.
Yeah. Oh my, you're breaking up quite a bit. I hope it's not on my end. Guys, can you hear Anthony? Or can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
There you go. I missed what you were saying. Sorry. Yes.
Oh, I said I have a credit card with a limit of £1,500, right?
Yep.
So they obviously they require a minimum payment every month towards that is around £20, and it's at 16.9 APR. Would you advise me to keep paying the minimum payment or just bite my lip and just pay the whole amount?
No. Minimum payment, you are the best customers for the bank. If you're paying minimum, because it just simply rolls over the interest and it multiplies that interest for a long period of time. So the longer you have the loan, the more beneficial it is for the bank. The shorter you have the loan, it's more beneficial for you. So no, pay more. Simple. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I've sent an email to Nancy. I hope she gets it on time because I want to pay the 500 shillings deposit today.
No worries. She will. As long as you've sent it today, she'll assist you with that. There's no problem.
I've sent it. Can I pay by Sendwave?
I am not sure.
Because I don't have Mpesa where we are.
That's okay. I said you can use the bank transfer and
right.
Any of those others, Nancy will help you out with that. Is that okay?
All right. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So I'm in my final semester, and by the time I'm done, I'm sure I want to open a counseling firm, but I challenge finances. How do you set up? How do you value my services? How do I manage the shift from parents? That's a lot of questions that you put there, Purity. It's a process of discovery, but I think, especially when you talk about the 101 program, it's helping you to organize yourself so that as you discover the way forward, you're not going to make any financial mistakes along the way. All right. There was a question in the chat. All right. If I find it, I will try my best to answer it now. If I find it, will there be a module covering cryptocurrencies, the big shift to digital assets? So we talk about, I told you, higher risk investments based on goals that require higher returns as the principle. And then you're able to apply that to cryptocurrencies, NFTs, what other areas, commodities, and various other investments. So it's, remember Remember, you're not coming out, Stella, you're not coming out of this class as a commodities trader or a cryptocurrency trader. If you want to do that, you need to go and study cryptocurrencies, study commodities to be a trader. But if you want to be an investor, you understand what the risk profile is and then select the investments based on your knowledge. So that's not, we're not making you investment experts. No, we're making you, giving you the tools to have the personal financial skill set to achieve your goals. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes people are like, you have to learn about every single investment. No. There are too many for us to have that in the class. So you want to learn the principle to apply now in the area of interest that you have. All right. Great question. What's your take on crypto investments? Match it to your goal. So crypto, as I did a video a couple of years back, I said, don't invest in crypto, and people, the hate that came towards me because people didn't actually watch the video in which I said, don't invest in crypto because in case you don't understand, right? And the principle of investments, Jeffrey, is that do not invest if you do not understand. Most people don't understand what are the fundamentals of crypto, what are the risk factors that are there, how do you actually make money? Because Jeffrey, there was an issue of mining when it started off. Mining, the capacity that you need for mining is just huge. It's a huge investment profile. Are you using it as a store of value? Are you going to use it for currency? What are you doing with crypto? So you need to understand those factors and then make a choice based on your goal. If I'm able to pay off a loan quickly, what happens? I think I answered that. Yes, pay off as quickly.
Cold, isn't it?
Can.
It's fucking cold, man.
Oh, please. Hello. Your microphone is on and you're speaking, Anthony. Whoa. We'll talk about Zoom etiquette later on. That was hilarious. Somebody is feeling cold. Okay. As part of the orientation pack, we'll do Zoom etiquette. Would you advise someone, should they leave their money in a bank? And if so, which opinion is better, fixed deposit, savings, current? I don't know. Jesse, for what? Remember you said the best investment is the one that matches your goal. And you're going to find when you come into the one-on-one program that you're going to have multiple goals. And therefore, you're an adult. And in adulting, we multitask. Right? We multitask. We do multiple things. So as you save, you're also going to be investing as you're paying your debt. So you don't do one at a time. And so each of the choices as far as your investment strategies will be based on those goals. So remember, come as a couple. It's really powerful for your homes. Classes start next week on the 9th. So take advantage of that discount for today. Registration discount. You've got 1,000 bob off, which is really good. Are we going to learn about compounding returns, Jesse? Yes. That is the entire module 2, time value of money, my favorite class. Looking forward to training you guys on that. The idea of compounded returns, that's vital for everybody's financial goals as we go through. So ladies and gentlemen, we've talked a lot and we've said many things in this session. I hope it's been helpful to you. If it has been helpful, give me a thumbs up, just so I know I was not talking to myself. And the place that you're going to do, where is the best place to place your emergency fund? Good question. Where it is secure. You're looking for security. So you match the investment to your goal. So security is your goal. You don't want growth. So you look for secure investments. If you want growth, then you look for investments that have a growth outcome. Great. Thumbs up have come. That means then we have learned. Ladies and gentlemen, this was just a taste. Please do not miss out on class that's starting next week. It'll change your life. It changed mine. And I know we're going to have a good time together. See you guys in class. Bye.